Okay, happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays to everyone who feels good about this time of year. Happy holidays. Hopefully, you feel better this time of year. Life can be incredible. But I'm here today just to say uh, let's we need to pay attention to what's going on and more. I wish more of our people would pay attention. I'm a little disappointed at a lot of the feeds, not a lot, but too many, too much of some of the great information that I get from a lot of you young people sending out great information, supporting our people, wanting us to be unified and for success and freedom and real prosperity that we deserve. And I'm disappointed when I hear any of our people uh, just not understanding that how much growth we could have if it was unity. And I'm not asking anyone to have to really change their views, especially from our people. But if we can learn to collaborate, cooperate, man, we can make a big difference. And I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about our people from diaspora, from the diaspora. When our people were taken from Africa, we weren't just dropped off here in the United States. There was the Caribbean and the West Indies. And there's so many of us scattered that if we could just put ourselves in a room and work this out together, because we're going to be different cultures. We understand we were taken from our continent 400 or 500 years ago. So we are a different culture from the original culture, but we can still be, we can still make a difference if we put our heads together and start to try to understand each other. And there are a lot of us understanding each other. I just wish I wish there could be more of our people understanding our cultures are different, but we can still make a difference. Give you again an example. This example is just use your imagination and think about how, for example, here we go. This government doesn't want to fund HBCUs. Fine. But if our HBCUs developed relationships with Africa, we wouldn't need the government funding for our HBCUs. Look at this, think about this. If the HBCUs here in the United States would develop relationships with Africa, number one, the students that they already have within the HBCUs, the students that already attend these HBCUs, introduce them to the opportunities that Africa has for our young people. And it does. Africa is only in the condition that it's in because they took almost, they say 14 million, probably closer to 20 million slaves from the continent of Africa. And then it was colonized after that, during that, and up until it's been colonized and stripped. Well, you've taken away 14 million people, then you come back and take advantage of the rest of the continent. Of course, we have challenges on the continent of Africa, but because it's in a nation that is still developing, it's prime for brothers and sisters who want to go and contribute. So if our HBCUs would develop relationships with Africa, we wouldn't need anyone to form. We could be sending students there to help develop. And the ones who don't want to go don't have to go again, but there's still way. Where there's a will, there's a way. We could be teaching African kids, young within the next 10 years, 1 out of every 4 people are going to be African. one another because of the growth and the young people who are in Africa. And if we collaborate our resources from around the world to educate those kids, the internet is here. Some of the same teachers, the same teachers who have been laid off from jobs in the United States could be teaching online, teaching to African kids, engineering, or architect, science. With all the technology right now, everything can be done in different languages. We got to start thinking there's a better way to deal with what's going on. Once we start collaborating with our motherland for direction to prosperity and generational wealth, they're not going to get. Africa is not giving us the resistance that we have endured here, and I use the term loosely, resistance, that we've endured here for 400 years. We don't have to deal with this. There's a better way. They do owe us reparations. Better way. They do owe us reparations. We're going to get our reparations, but we have to focus on control, changing our own mindsets. Where I started with this is saying I'm disappointed that so many of us just don't know about where we come from. And once you understood, that's why I feel that if all of us would take a DNA test, it's inexpensive. It'll take a few weeks. But I think if you feel and understand where you actually came from, it'll make a difference in your mindset. We got to change our mindset. There's too much westernized information on how Africa looks and feels and should be, and we're not. It's closing our minds to what we could change. We're not trying to change them. We can change ourselves. And I say them, you know what I'm talking about. So we have to start collaborating with potential to invest in what we came from. We owe it to our ancestors to invest in where we came from. Everyone does not have to leave the United States and go to Africa, but there's so many other opportunities because of the World Wide Web and technology for those who want to go. Like I said, that's why I feel if our HBCUs would just sit down with the rights. And I know that every country on the continent of Africa is not open or ready for what we want to do, but for those who are, and there are some, they need engineers, architects, and doctors and scientists. They need them trained well. They need opportunities for the education of the kids who live in further villages. There's a way to do things with AI. Man, don't miss the boat. There are other ethnics and cultures investing in Africa. Let's not be the ones who don't understand that how this is. We come from this land. We come from that land. There's no other way around it. So I kind of hope I wasn't all over the place, but I've been brewing for since I did my last video on YouTube. And with disappointment that too many of our people do not understand where we come from. Too many. We got to change that. Take a DNA test. Just one. Of course, for me, I've always had an extreme passion for being a proud Black man. But then when my wife got me that test and showed me that I was 80% Nigerian, that made me feel a little. I can't say I didn't feel better. I felt bad. I mean, excuse me. I felt better knowing and feeling that I had a connection. My lineage of African descent was brought here in Virginia in the 1700s. and it's a little more to it. But in the meantime, it made me feel good. We all over this. We got this, and we can make it work with some unity. We gotta have some unity, y'all. I'm talking worldwide. Dark people. We don't have to, and they're doing it it's being done everywhere. And I mean the discrimination and the, the racism and we don't have to accept it. We don't have to accept it. We only have to accept it if we plan to stay here. If you plan to stay here, you accept it, deal with it. But again, you can still invest in a continent that you can help grow and grow your own wealth from a different angle this time. When they took Africans from the continent of Africa, they did not just come over there and grab a bunch of anybody's. They stole, they kidnapped the strongest, the smartest, the most the most effective for what they had to do, people that they could round up, steal, kidnap, rape, murder. Our people who made it across the transatlantic slave trade, the ones who survived, we are products of incredible genes, to survive. And no other culture, I promise you, no other culture could have survived that. And that's what I believe, my opinion, that frightens them the most. That what we've been through, what we go through, that we surviving it, but it's now time to thrive. We can thrive with some unity. They took us from our continent, a continent that is in development. And this is what gets me, because our people, the first thing they'll say is, "Oh man, what about Africa? It's poor. It's people running around with flies on their faces and big stomachs." I'm like, wow, you've been so westernized. I bet you watch John Wayne movies every night before you go to bed. Anyway. Africa is nothing of the sort. But there's every country, every continent has issues. The continent of Africa has issues on a label of being related to being the continent being raped, the people being kidnapped, and all those things. When you steal the best people from a continent and then you go back and rape the continent, yeah, it's got growth. Has to rebuild. It has to grow. And you've been doing this for hundreds of years. This isn't just start and stop 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago. We're talking about 400 years of issues, problems, colonization, slave trade, 400 years and more of that on the continent. So with that being said, our history does not start with slavery. Black people, we come from incredible genealogy. Incredible genealogy. No other culture. That they wiped out the Indians. They chased the Spanish people out. They can't. They tried everything to keep us down. Look what Indians are. The true inhabitants, the native, if you want to call so-called Americans. So we got this. We got to have some unity. If our West Indian brothers and sisters and all over the diaspora come together with the incredible knowledge and strength and bloodline that we come from, because all of them are the same too. All of us that left Africa, we are from incredible bloodlines, and they know this. They hope we never figure it out. Let's come together and figure this out. We start to, if when, I'm not going to say if, when our HBCUs can develop relationships with Africa, we could change this like incredibly. We educating our kids, our young people in environments that are inclusive and functional and creative and inspiring instead of the opposite of what's going on because they don't want us in their schools. Wow. So we can change this. We can change this. HBCUs, and maybe I'm jumping the gun and don't know that you guys are doing something, but if you're not, you should. Man, I'd love to be a part of. I'd love to be a part of touring HBCUs and letting them know, and just breaking the idea, breaking some ice around the subject that once we collaborate with Africa, whether it's Burkina Faso, schools in Nigeria, it's Tanzania, Kenya. The development that's going on the continent of Africa right now is so incredible, and it's got room to grow. Why would you want to try to invest in the United States? And I'm not saying you shouldn't. We should. But what I'm saying is it don't have to be your only option. And I'm talking investing financially, physically, mentally, just being a part of the progress that's there, that the potential that's there as it grows. That's where we want to be right now. We want to be where it is, where we can help our continent grow. We got room to expand with very little resist. We don't have the resistance that we have here because the color of our skin. We just need to be bringing means and reasoning to contribute to the success. All of the resources in Africa: gold, diamonds, oil, olives, cocoa, platinum, copper. Come on. See, Africa wasn't behind when slavery, when the ships of the greed of Europe came to the shores. When the ships came, we were ahead of our time then. If Africa had never been interrupted, if we'd have never been interrupted for our growth and prosperity and progress in science and medicine, construction, agriculture, medicine, arts, if that would have never been interrupted. Can you imagine? You just imagine how connected we could be and how free we could be from this. Now, I'm saying that because we still have all the opportunity in front of us. There's a lot we can do helping. We don't have to accept this. Yeah, of course, again, the United States owe us. They know they owe us, but that's why they're going to keep playing these games as long as we allow these games to be played. And we may have to play them as long as they need to be played. But we don't have to make this our only option to build wealth and financial freedom and economic independence for our families and structures. We get options. We have options. We got to have some unity to understand these options. I'd love to be a part of, like I said before, speaking engagements at our HBA historically Black colleges, HBCUs. I'd love to be a part of just because someone needs to be sharing this information on a consistent basis with our young people so they understand they have options. For those who are going to school for agriculture and science and engineering, architect, arts, we have options to be sending our students straight from our HBCUs to Africa to help build and help develop and every and explore the world. Even more important, let them get a piece, let them understand, let them feel, so they can start understanding there is a difference of what's being portrayed about Africa with kids with flies on their faces and swollen stomachs. Africa, for those who may live in huts in Africa, because that's their culture, there's no homeless people because they prefer to live, they are willing, because of their culture, to live in a hut. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what they want. But look around you here in the United States. You got homeless people living under bridges and down city streets in the downtown areas of almost every city. Again, you see what I'm saying? It's a cultural thing. Be willing to blend our culture because we've been westernized, and understand the culture from where we should have come from and we should have never, should be a part of us now. So with that being said, we just need to be able to blend our cultures. And it's going to take time. But in the meantime, if we have a common denominator, and for me, that common denominator is improving, investing, supporting the continent that we came from, that we were stolen from, or that we were stolen from. Because we have options. With if all of us, and I know, and I prefer to say when all of us as Africans, African Americans, West Indians, Brazilians, from all of those countries that we've been spread out to because of the slave trade, once we start focusing on some of the same goals, I'm just saying we all have to think alike, but if we look and choose to improve connection, our involvement with the continent, I think we will feel. I think we can, maybe bridging some gaps. We need to put a bridge over this gap of how the rest of the dark people, the Black people, and from the diaspora, in the diaspora from Africa, how we communicate, relate, build communities, and whether they're worldwide with the internet, the World Wide Web, AI, we can still build incredible communities just from our computers all over the world. We don't have to, I'm not saying anyone has to, but for those who want to explore it and move to, honestly, I've never been, but I'm going. We're going. I have a strong, there's something drawing me now to want to really put my feet down on the ground, and I mean with no shoes on and no socks on the ground of Africa. So I just want to. I don't know how. I got to figure out how long this video has been. I had to I had to come out and say something before the end of the year. I'm hoping everybody have safe holidays coming up for however you celebrate them. Let's not miss out. We got this. We got to have some unity. We got to have some direction, some focus, some focus, and some action. Man, there's some great information that I see coming across my feed all the time, whether it's Facebook, YouTube. Young people are doing incredible work out there, and I hope you continue to grow your content, uh, 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 your channels, and it'd be even more incredible once we start owning some of that real estate. I heard a guy on one of my feeds say earlier today that content is more valuable than oil right now. I'm sharing all that, kind of sharing that to say also because we as people are to should be must be looking at other ways to generate income. Not everything has to be done physically. And as soon as we understand how to incorporate AI into our lives, especially as older people, we got to start figuring. There's so it's so much easier right now to become wealthy because of, or if you ain't trying to be wealthy but self-reliant. It's kind of like when I was growing up, I knew as a kid because I used to go shovel people's snow and or cut their grass, depending on the time of the year, being from Detroit. But I knew as long as I had a shovel or a lawnmower, I didn't have to be broke. The internet can be like that for you. You don't have to be broke, but you just got to figure out what you can do consistently, what you can scale. So we got to start paying attention. As artificial intelligence is a leveling field for everybody, but you got to figure out what you may be good at, what you have a passion for, something along that line. I'm talking to more of us older people. People want to supplement their incomes. You may not be looking to be wealthy, but if you're just looking to supplement your income, add an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a month to your income. So anyway, my goal is to become more regular at doing these videos. It's kind of for me, it's a way to vent, and before a reason, just not for no, because we can do better. Man, we can do better. Once we control, it's all about the land. They stole us from our land. They raped the land that they stole us from. Our ancestors and our current brothers and sisters who've always lived there have challenges that can and should be and will be corrected. But if the sooner we can help them, we help ourselves. They took us from our families. They took us from our families. They took babies from mothers. They took husbands from wives, mothers from kids. They didn't care. And so here we are. And that's why our culture here outside of the continent is different. We've been westernized. It's just about the only way to put it. That's why we speak with the accents that we do. We don't sound like where we're from because we've been westernized. But we gotta the sooner we can accept that the continent that we came from have not been westernized, and vice versa, I think we can reach some common grounds to bridge, to set up, to put together, to build a bridge, create a bridge, develop a bridge that allows us to say, okay, it is what it was, but now let's make it how it can be. Because, like I said, with all of the experience and knowledge and technology, the young people being educated here in the United States, and then then our teachers our teachers from these our teachers from our AUs could be earning extra income, or teachers who've been laid off or fired be earning income, building their own, being self-reliant, building businesses out of teaching African kids. Africa has the resources to pay for worldwide education. They don't have, the kids wouldn't have to travel here. You're talking about being able to save money from because of the artificial intelligence, you can literally be teaching them not only, I'm not talking about just a Zoom class, but we're talking now, you're talking about using AI to build the teaching. So for example, we're talking about Africa being on the other side of the world, the time zone is different. Now you can use AI to bridge that gap. There's clones that could have you teaching these kids at whatever time of day or night it is there, while you prepare lessons and live your lifestyle at a different time zone on the opposite side of the world. Where there's a will, there's a way. We just gotta, we can do this. We can do this, but we gotta have some unity. All right, y'all. Thanks for letting me vent. I'll be back. Um, I'll be back. And I see I've been 30 minutes and 50, some I'd say we're 31 minutes. Thanks for putting up with me. Message to the Black man. We can do this. We gotta have some unity all over the world, not just in the United States, all over the world. The diaspora, I love that word. We have our own. We don't have to change their minds. We said we need to change our minds, our mindsets. Thanks.